What's going on, everybody? Geo3TT, otherwise known as Ghost, and welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we talk about the bricks and minifigs situation, otherwise known as BAM. I'm going to be referring to it as BAM for the rest of the video, so just letting you know that is bricks and minifigs. And today, we're going to be talking about that situation. And before we get into it, just a couple side notes. Number one, I do want to thank Reckless Ben and Penguin Zero for their coverage of this topic, bringing a lot of public notion to it, and just pointing out this corruption. I really do hope Brian does get a justice for, obviously his dad and obviously the Legos and stuff that was stolen from him. I really do hope his dad is okay and everything's peaceful in what's going on right now. And I hope these pieces of shit get locked up, and especially the American Fork, the police department, that deserves absolute hell for what they've put Brian and his family through. But if you guys want to skip to this time on the screen, I do kind of have to talk about something that relates to the channel. If you guys want to get straight to the topic, you can skip right here. So, today we're going to be talking about, something that happened. I made a community note about it. So my PC is fried. My power supply unit broke, and we are not going to have the computer, well, the actual PC, for about 2 weeks. I am getting a new power supply from Corsair. Thank you, Corsair, for having great customer service. Got back to me in like 24 to 48 hours and approved for me to get another one. So I really do appreciate you guys for helping me out on that. And for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be recording off of my MacBook and doing everything we can. I'm sorry if the cookie clicker footage is a little laggy. We are having to work with what we have. I will try to get something to try to be less laggy, maybe another game that might work better on this computer, but that's basically the rundown. So let's get into the video. So the BAM situation is a pretty crazy one, so I'm going to give the most basic breakdown that I can. If you guys want a more in-depth breakdown going over the body cam footage and everything else, I'm giving my base opinion on it and just kind of talking about the facts that we do have. I'm not going to present the facts to you. I'm just going to talk about them. If you do want to see the facts in person, I really suggest going and checking out the last 3 Penguin Zero videos. He goes in depth with it. If you want to see the original people who did upload all of the footage, shout out to Reckless Ben. You can go support his Patreon. He does upload some of the newer footages early, and you can get all of that footage. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. So originally, there's this dude named Brian, and his dad's sick. So Brian, he knows that his dad owns a very lucrative Star Wars collection that is worth $150,000 to $200,000. So to get his dad the treatment he needs, he brings it to a Bricks and Minifigs and signs a co-assignment deal to sell these Legos and make money for his sick dad. Like absolute vultures and parasites, 2 guys come down from corporate, swoop the store up, and agree on video to take on these consignments, which means that the consignment that Brian had, they're now obligated for. They don't think so. So Brian makes a lot of threats to the store. Obviously, if you owe a lot of money to somebody, especially worth like $200,000, you try to go get that shit. So Brian attempts to make contact with the store and try to figure out, from the original owners, getting all the evidence. They gave him a lot of evidence, and he goes to the store. He gets trespassed. He can't go in there anymore. Not desperate, but in need. Brian reaches out to a YouTuber named Reckless Ben, and Reckless Ben picks up on the story and is fully willing to help Brian. Thank God. And Reckless Ben even gets an Airbnb and brings an entire team out to where this is going on, Salem, Oregon, and they decide to help Brian actually get a lawsuit going to try to get his Legos back. So what do? They sue the store, and they sue the owners, and they make all this publicity around the store so people don't shop there, and that they can actually win a lawsuit They sue the hell out of him. And what do absolute blood-sucking parasites who are vultures and absolute pussies do? They close the store. So the lawsuit that they originally had against the store is no longer valid. So now, what do they do? What do you naturally do? You go after the owners. So that's exactly what Reckless Ben tried to do. And basically, the two owners, which I'm going to put their names on the screen. You could laugh at these losers from your phone, TV, whatever you want to do. But basically, they go to sue these guys. And to sue somebody personally, the exact policy through the U.S. government is you have to do two things which you need to have contact for in order to actually sue somebody. Number one, you have to make contact and at least make an attempt to settle something out of court, which he did. And he got trespassed from their properties by both owners, both of the corporate scum who stole these dudes' Legos. Now, another thing that they tried to do is now you have to go to serve them. You actually have to serve them papers so they know to go to court and actually be present for the lawsuit. They didn't show up to the first lawsuit where they sued the store. They didn't show up. That's the only reason they won, is because they didn't fight it. They just closed the store and ran like absolute bitches. So what do? Basically, Reckless Ben gets somebody to go to serve these owners papers so they can actually process a court and actually formally sue them as per the government. And out of nowhere, like absolute birds suckling the cock out of the fucking owners, the American police department comes out of nowhere and absolutely harasses Reckless Ben and makes it really hard for him to just be able to serve them papers. On the absolute body cam, you can absolutely see Reckless Ben legit gives it to a cop and says, "Hey, you're going to have to actually sign something for me saying that you actually gave the owners these papers." He was able to serve one of the owners his papers. He showed up. He got trespassed from that property as well, because the owners are absolute leeches who have to rely on, I think they're the Amish community of police departments, and apparently it's like a whole cult kind of fucking thing that's going on there with the police department. And then literally when they go to do that, the officer says, "Oh, he's already been served. We're not actually going to serve him these papers. Here's them back. Just take them and fucking leave." And they redacted the whole part of that from the body cam, so they couldn't actually say, "Hey, somebody else actually did serve him papers. He's acknowledging the lawsuit." Because if that were to happen, they could actually get sued, and they can actually go and they can get that officer to sign a couple of papers saying, "Hey, I gave him these papers. He knows the lawsuit's happening. Now we can actually sue him." That can't happen. So basically, Reckless Ben gets arrested and absolutely harassed. There was a body cam footage of where they apparently got him at a stop sign for doing a rolling stop. But what's kind of fishy to me is when they pulled him over officially, they didn't even look towards the driver. They went straight to the back and just went, "What's your name? Are you Ben?" Legit pointed him out and arrested him and said that apparently they had heroin in the car, which was another lie made up by the owners, because they're so much of scum that they just can't accept that they're in the wrong and that they're just absolute vultures who are leeching off of the police department. It's sad how real women get stalked years after years and get killed all the time, but these absolute corporate scumbags get protected by these absolute bitches at this police department. It's so sad. And basically all this stuff happens, and like, I'm telling you, if you want the full breakdown, body cam, everything, please go check out Penguin Zero video. He does a great job at talking about all of it. And like, all this shit goes down, and Ben ends up getting arrested again for a second time after getting arrested for the first time. And he gets let out and he goes to Mexico. He's in Mexico at the moment. He got harassed so much that he literally had to go to Mexico because there was so much fucking corruption that he literally was forced to flee to Mexico. And all this corruption going on. And the police department releases a video talking about everything that's recently going on and completely and utterly invalidates any other point of view but their own. They literally just go on for, I think the video is like 10 minutes, just talking about themselves, the police department, protecting the police department, not protecting the people who literally got assaulted by a police officer because they thought they were running, even though they were standing still on body cam, and dislocated his shoulder. And they tried to claim because he used a stock image photo of an x-ray of a when you get a dislocated shoulder, you don't get a fucking x-ray. You literally don't. They look at it. You could tell from the way it looks. You don't need an x-ray to tell a dislocated shoulder. He used that and legit said in the video, this is satire. They tried to say it's misleading and that he lied about that. And they're using every legal loophole. I'm going back and editing this video right now, and I noticed that in the lapse of judgment, I was talking about where he dislocated his shoulder, where the police did. I did not mention that his house actually got raided. I wanted to provide the full breakdown, so I wanted to jump back in from the editing side of things to kind of talk about what happened with the thing. So basically, one of the owners was talking about that they had some of the stolen Legos at their house at the Airbnb, which for some fucking reason gave them enough in court for a judge to actually sign off for them to raid this dude's house. So they raid his house and pull everybody outside, and Brendan Best, the YouTuber, gets his arm dislocated by a cop because the cop said he was running. And I was talking about from the police footage where they talked about the situation. I didn't actually mention how he got his arm dislocated, so I wanted to provide those details and try to give you as much as I can. Again, I tried to say that I was going to make this as concise as possible, but if I got to bring up about his arm getting dislocated, then I got to bring up that. So, yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Just had to provide these details. And they also did some shit with, I believe it was like his cameraman or something, where he was getting his phone confiscated, and he legit was just going to lock his phone. Because like any natural person, if you're giving your phone to the cops, you're going to lock it. You're not going to let them go through your shit without a search warrant. So these absolute vultures are angry because he closed his phone, can't go through it illegally. So you know what they do? They say he's manipulating his phone by pressing a power button, trying to delete all the evidence, thinking he has like fucking CP or some weird shit on this phone. And like, it's all this corruption from these cops, and they legit violate his amendments. There was also an instance where they literally hung a sign on a fence, did nothing illegal, by the way, were literally stalked by the police. They were hiding right outside of his house the second he put the sign up, and they completely violated his First Amendment rights by taking down their sign. They just took it, and they're on body cam saying the only reason we took this was because it made us angry. This is the craziest situation, and I genuinely don't think Bam is going to be able to recover from this. So honestly, I will never trust a Bam ever. I don't play with Legos, but if I did, Bam would never have my business ever again. Because the fact that these people still have their fucking jobs, these absolute pieces of shit, who are still in a corporate high ladder who can maybe do this to another store anywhere else, it shows that they're absolute scumbags and that there's not much accountability in this company at all. So at the end of the day, you know, Bam is going to get a lot of bad publicity from this, and I'm really happy that this is getting a lot of publicity because I'm hoping that we can bring a lot of justice to the situation, and especially for Brian and his dad. I'm hoping Brian can get the best care for his father, and I'm hoping Ben can get all of this cleared up, and we're hoping to get as much justice for everybody as possible. So shout out to Reckless Ben and Penguin Zero for all the information on this video. Again, if you want more in-depth footage, go look at Penguin Zero stuff. This is an absolute crazy situation, and I just really wanted to talk about it and go crazy on the mic for 15 minutes. So I want to thank you all for watching this video, and I appreciate it. You guys have an amazing day. Subscribe.